Good afternoon and welcome to the Michael Eure Show. Our very, very special guest today is Rene Daughtry from Cisco Systems and Asymmetry LLC. He'll talk about that. His topic for the day is the fourth industrial revolution. And this is the second time I've had the honor of having Rene on the show. The last time was in the fall of 2018. And his topic, I think, was the Internet of Things. So I'm very interested. So we're going to start off, Rene, would you just giving us a little bit of information about yourself?
Sure. And Michael, once again, thank you for having me on the show. I've morphed into now Coach Rene Daughtry. People go, who is this coach? What are you a coach of? I go, I'm a coach of my students. I'm a coach of you. I coach you to be the best that you can be in your mind and your spirit. And I like to say my title is THD. So Coach Rene Daughtry, THD. I'm a doctor of thinkology. And Mike, if you ever want to take that, or anybody in the audience, that's fine. But I've been at Cisco 25 years. I've started a company called Aisymmetry LLC, and we are STEM focused and STEM oriented on our community and our young men and women.
Now, I've been working with you for many, many years, of course, and you do so many things in the community. And I remember when we bought some students from South Africa and you gave them the tour, and you've also done that with students from Wake Tech and St. Aug and Central. And just tell us a little bit about how you integrate that, make it so much fun for these young people.
Well, thank you for that. In fact, I've been very fortunate with Cisco to be able to bring students to the campus, going from Lowe's Grove Middle School, Neal Middle School, all the way to ECPI, NCCU, St. Aug, to bring this plethora and breadth of students to the campus. So number one, they can see what is in their own neighborhood, to see the Cisco campus, to actually take a tour of the labs and see all the technology. So the things they're doing, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Instagram, so they can kind of see what this technology is and how it's driven. And the most important thing, I make sure that my demographics of my students are represented with Cisco employees when they come. So I've got Asian, Latino, African-American students, and I do the same thing with the Cisco employees that come in to speak to them. Very important, they see people who look like them in this technology world, be it men, be it women, be whoever. But I think that's very, very important for my young ones to see.
Yeah, you've done a good job with that. And also you're involved with the National Society for Black Engineers, RTP chapter, right?
Yes, I am. I'm part of NSBE, RTP. I'm like an honorary member of NSBE, RTP. I'm also part of the 100 Black Men Triangle East to make sure we're exposing our kids, and especially our youth, to everything that they could be. Because there's a saying that the 100 has, and I fell in love with it. They will be what they see.
Yes, we know them very well. And also to the audience, if you have more questions about NSBE, you can ask Rene or myself, but when later on you'll get our contact information and we can refer you to the president. They have scholarships, they have internships, they have all kinds of things. Speaking of that, tell us a quick little bit about your shadowing program for high school students and what you do internship-wise for college students.
Sure. And unfortunately, because of COVID-19, this was the first year in 15 years that I did not have my high school job shadowing program for the students. I normally select about 4 or 5 students from the local high schools. They have to give me a resume and a 45-second video clip on why should I hire them. They come in, it's just a volunteer, it's not a paid job shadowing opportunity at all. They're 3 weeks in the Cisco lab, working alongside of college co-ops, Cisco engineers, and Cisco lab operation engineers. So they can see everything firsthand, get hands-on. And one of the requirements that they have to do, they have to build their LinkedIn profile. And as they're interacting with all these different people, get recommendations. So we start really early with them through this 3-week program. It's very important to get them, to let them see technology, more important to touch it and to start to build their personal network.
Well, I'm gonna let you go because I know you got to do your presentation, but I wanted to briefly, because I'm very, and you are too, involved with the urban rural interchange. And together we were part of the North Carolina Leadership Immersion Program and Urban Rural Interchange Collaborative, all these long words. But through all of that, you got to kind of meet the students from Princeville. And you've done a lot of things in Eastern North Carolina. You do things with Raleigh and Durham, but you also do things in the rural areas. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh, very quickly. Rocky Mount, Tarboro, Scotland Neck. We went out to different areas of rural North Carolina to try to expose the kids to a technology again and for them to see us. In fact, I'm just now working with NCCU, with Central, on a new grant that Central has gotten to put together the STEM initiative for 2021 to go back out again to, I like to say, the other side of I-95, and now to expose our kids to some of this STEM technology. You can see behind me my Lego robots and my and some of the things that I use on our workshops. And I've got a whole army of other gentlemen who are going to go out and we're going to get together and go expose these kids to some technology, coding, Lego robotics, game design thinking. So you're going to see us in 2021.
Okay, Sarah, you can take me on the side and let's let Rene take it over and just give us the fourth industrial revolution.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Once again, thank you, Mike, for allowing me to come on your radio show and talk to some students about what's going on around them. Very briefly, as Coach Rene Daughtry, just want to let you see that I've worked with 2019 with the NCCU Chatham White Scholars, starting to expose them to technology and opportunity. Next slide, please. And as you see, that's some of my workshops that we did in 2019 with the North Carolina STEM Summer Camp and Saturday Academy, where I actually had 6th, 7th, and 8th graders building and coding robots. We did coding workshops with them. We did design workshops with them. I had a gentleman that's Coach Hanif Salim, who did principles of electricity. So we did all type of workshops with these young men. And we had a real good time with them. And they learned a lot. But more important, we learned a lot from our youth. Next slide, please. So the fourth industrial revolution. Now, when I say that, and I'll give you a quick overview, and I'm going to repeat it again after. The first industrial revolution was basically people coming out of the farmlands and coming into cities, early 1800s. Second industrial revolution, when we started, the early 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, the cars, electricity, electric lights, things of that nature. Third industrial revolution, 1970, the internet. The fourth industrial revolution is where we are now. COVID-19 has pushed us into this. And I'll repeat this again at the end. It's the merger of the biomedical, the biophysical, the digital worlds, all colliding together and coming together, creating this virtual world and virtual opportunity that COVID-19 pushed us into. Next slide. Now, very briefly, networks. Networks have been around for thousands of years. Ancient history, Roman times. In Rome, they had to deliver a message from one end of Rome to the other by a runner or by a bird. Ladies and gentlemen and children of all ages, that was email. In Africa, we communicated by drums. Mobile phones. American Indians communicated by smoke signals. Text messaging. So as you see, technology and networks have been here for thousands of years, just gotten more sophisticated. Next slide. In 1984, Cisco, 2 individuals at Stanford University in California, wanted to communicate across the network in 1984. 1984, the internet was here. It was for the military and universities. In their garage, they created the first router in San Francisco, the birth of Cisco systems. And from 1984 to now, this company that I work for, as you can see in 30 years, email, e-commerce, we have moved drastically through because of the third industrial revolution. And where we are now, things are all connected. This is what the world is, where we are now. And as I said, COVID-19 has pushed us well into this. Next slide, please. And when I talk about the fourth industrial revolution and the things that we're in, look how we use technology. We use technology in our everyday life. Web browsing, as we're doing now. Gaming. Gaming is huge. And the opportunity that I like to talk about my gamers is even hacking, ethical hacking. Some of my gamers are the best ethical hackers in the world. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But look at technology, music, Instagram, TikTok, gaming, like I said, the things that we do now. And we don't even realize what we do every day and how dependent we are on technology. Next slide. The device you hold, the main connection to the network. I don't know about you, but I know I have left home without it. And I had to come all the way back home to come and go get this thing because we are so connected with email, FaceTime, the things that we do on our mobile phones. I've got a son, I've got 3 sons, but my last son, the baby, he was 2 years ago applying for college. So as a parent, we talk to the ceiling. Get your college application done. He comes downstairs. Dad, I did it. I got the college app on my phone. And I went, excuse me? Applied to college on his mobile device. This is what we're doing now. It is the main connection to the network. And look again, how COVID-19 has pushed us to rely on these mobile devices. Next slide. And I'd like to just encourage everyone on the phone, on the screen and on the internet, not to say IT anymore. Because now with information, communications, and technology, it's all ICT and it's everywhere. Television, smart televisions, entertainment. Through COVID-19, before COVID-19, my wife and I used to go out on date night. We used to go to concerts, go to DPAC, go to little jazz venues. Can't do it anymore. So guess what? We have date night online streaming jazz. That's again, the beauty of technology. Education, gaming. We talk about technology, and I'm going to talk about just things in your own backyard here in North Carolina. One of the largest gamers is right here in North Carolina. Epic Games is right in Cary, North Carolina. Fortnite, $1 billion in sales and still growing. Right here. Take a look at the things that we're doing, in our own backyard. Health. My wife just finished talking to her doctor by way of Zoom and telehealth. It's where we are. And when I talk about this, and the job opportunities that is created is immense. If you're online talking to your doctor, that network has to be secure. That network and that conversation and all those records, because of HIPAA laws, has to be secured. So I have up here network security. Huge, all because of where we are today. Wonderful opportunity to get into. So keep that in mind as you're looking for new opportunity, looking at maybe what to take in school or what courses to take. Look at this network opportunity in ethical hacking. Huge. And even our banking is all in the cloud and all online. Again, how this fourth industrial revolution is around us and the things that we're doing every day. And we're really taking all for granted right now. My next slide, please. Every 60 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens on the network. Every 60 seconds, 168 million emails, including spam and phishing, are sent every 60 seconds. 14,000 Pandora downloads every 60 seconds. So we can kind of understand now the traffic that's flowing across the internet and what's going on around us. And again, what we take for granted, but all the opportunity that this has opened up for all of us. Next slide, please. Digital smart mirror. I remember I've been speaking about this for years, and at first I got laughed at. And now it's a reality. In fact, I just saw the commercial for the new workout mirror that actually connects to the network, and you've got your workout person looking back at you on your mirror as you work out at home. So now think about going to the store, You go to the clothing store, you don't have to change clothes anymore. You wave your hand and your image change outfits or color. I ask my students, when do you think this is going to happen? Coach, sometime in late 2023 or 20. I go, no. Digital smart mirror, Neiman Marcus, New York, LA, Chicago. The digital mirror exists now. What's the opportunity from this? Data management, data security, looking at what did this individual just look at? What did this individual purchase? All that information is being collected in the background. As an individual, I'm going to have to look at that information and see maybe what do we order now? Is there a different type of apparel that we order for a certain store? Because somebody looked at something using this digital mirror. So again, ladies and gentlemen, it's opened up a whole new opportunity. Data management, data analytics. Please be aware of that. Next slide. Wearable technology. Now, Coach just has a plain old watch. I just want to know the time. Now, my wife, on the other hand, she needed a smartwatch so she can tell how many steps she has taken, how many hours she has slept, what her heart rate is. A lot of people have this now. It's something you demanded. A lot of this information, again, goes to the cloud. It's stored. And what does this do for you? What's the opportunity? Network security, data management, data analytics. See, I'm going back at this again. And I keep repeating those because that's the opportunity that is brought. A lot of our sports figures now we have wearable technology under their uniforms. NC State has a whole school and curriculum on wearable technology. So our sports figures are wearing these devices to kind of monitor their heart rate, monitor their muscle tone, all in real time. Their trainers are on the sidelines with their tablets analyzing this data. So once again, as you can see, this is happening around us. And again, all this opportunity is happening in all of these new fields. Next slide, please. I'm heavily into robots. And to Coach Daughtry, anything that I've got to tell it to do something for me is a robot. And I know I've had people go, we talk about UPS and Amazon delivering packages by drone, UPS as well. People tell me we're going to be out of a job. Not really. Because I'm going to deliver a package, I've got to have people coding the drones. I've got to have people controlling the drones. I've got to build a data center where I can see where these drones are going, collect all that information as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, jobs are just really shifting. They're shifting to coders and people who can analyze data and try to keep track of all that information. So again, this is creating a plethora and wealth of opportunity. Next slide. I took these pictures because I looked at pizza deliveries by a robot. And I went, these are the things that's happening again right around us. And to me, I just think it's just wonderful. In fact, to show how my young ones are, I was doing a STEM workshop with Dr. Eric Salim at NCCU. I think it was last year or 2 years ago. And I was doing a presentation to my elementary kids about technology. And I said to the audience, I said, how can these robots better our lives? What can they do for us? And I had a fourth grader, a young lady, come to me and stand up and go, Coach, why can't the robots deliver food to the homeless? I went to myself, wow, there's that imagination moving, that development in her mind where she went, wow, why can't these bots do this? So once again, bots they're going to be here, they're here, and they're creating a lot of opportunity for us in the background. So please be aware of that. My next slide, please. Artificial arms and legs. A program I used to look at years ago when I was younger and we laughed at it, called a $6 million man. Google a company called Open Bionics. Smart artificial limbs. Smart artificial limbs. That when the limbs are attached to your body, they kind of connect to your body in a way, act like real limbs. This is real. They're here now. I think they're looking how to get to the United States. But Google it. Open Bionics, smart limbs coming to your world as we speak. Next slide. Now I've got up here Amazon, UNC Rex Healthcare and Education. And I'll speak quickly about these. Amazon.com, fulfillment centers, especially here in this triangle area. TJ Alexander, there's a fulfillment center there. There's a huge fulfillment center in Garner, North Carolina. 7,000 square feet, 4 floors, fitted for robotics. Once around in our own backyard, once again. A flat roof with a skyline view of Raleigh, Garner, and the surrounding area. That flat roof, think about it, could be where drones are launched to deliver packages in Garner, North Carolina. See, this is why I'm here today. So to open your eyes and open your mind and spirit to go, well, wait a minute. There are things that's happening right here. You know, as you go through school and you get your degree or your certifications, my goal is try to keep you here. So this intellectual capital will stay in this area and help more develop a lot of what's happening here. UNC Healthcare and UPS have gotten together. UPS has the exclusive contract to deliver blood samples for UNC Healthcare right here in North Carolina once again. So just be aware, again, of what's happening here. Education. We've been forced into virtual education. There's an application that's a school that I've worked with called Raleigh Technical High School, and they have a platform called Moodle, where the teachers, and they've had this for years, so they were all prepared for COVID-19, where the teachers have their day-to-day curriculums and day-to-day lectures for students on campus, and also recording everything. So when the that curriculum or that course is finished for that day, the student can go back home. Maybe they missed something. Maybe they were absent. They can go back online, look at that class all over again, do their homework, and upload it online. Platform is called Moodle. And I think now I've been talking to more and more schools about maybe, hopefully implementing this in their schools. But down the road, we're going to be doing more virtual schooling. And we may get to the point where your instructor will be a 3D hologram standing in front of you. Trust me, MIT and a few other schools are working on this, where that instructor will be on your location as a 3D hologram. So if you like videos and art, maybe something to think about, a new field to go into. Next slide, please. Now, this is something I like to speak about especially to my students, to my people reinventing themselves. And I do a lot of recruiting. What companies are looking for, I call it your life skills. Your life skills or soft skills is a big percentage of what they're looking for. Your hard skills are about 30%. What you learned in school, your degree, your certification, your job opportunities, and your job experience. 10%, social media. Gotta know how to get around on social media. The biggest thing, though, and 93% of the companies are looking about, I call them life skills. Your written and verbal communication skills. And when I say written, I don't mean emojis, I mean written skills. How do you collaborate with other people? People from different genders, people from different ethnic groups, different age groups. Because remember, the world now is total. You've got to know how to communicate and collaborate with everybody. So that's very important. That's my clue to you to take a really look at that. So your technical skills and what you've learned is very good, but how do you communicate? How do you write? And how you communicate, with your written skills? But more important, how do you collaborate with each other? So just keep that in mind as you're going for, looking for jobs, looking for internships, and as you're gaining and building your professional network. Next slide, please. Now, that word engineering, and you can go to the next slide as well, because it's going to put another little description up under there. I look at it, that word, as a diverse way of thinking. I don't care if it's electrical engineering, chemical engineering, it doesn't matter to me. All engineering is problem solving. And I make sure I speak to my elementary kids and my high school students and my college students that that's what that word really means. Because I've been very fortunate. I'm a problem solver. And that's another thing that companies are looking for. How do you solve problems? How do you think your way through a problem and come up with a solution? So that's what engineering is. And that's what engineering will prepare you for. And all these complicated maths and sciences. I'll say those bad words, Mr. Eure. Physics, chemistry, algebra, statistics. Very, very important subjects to have your mind geared towards problem solving. Next slide, please. Now, I never ever ask students, what do you want to be when you grow up? Because Coach Daughtry is still trying to figure that one out. What do I want to be when I grow up? What I want to know is what you want to change. I knew that I wanted to change my community. I wanted to bring more opportunity to my community. So I looked at myself and my engineering background at Cisco. How can I take my engineering knowledge and the things that I like and the things that I'm passionate about and develop that into a way to give back? And because of that, we developed this Lego robotics and coding and other things for our community. That's what I wanted to change. Wanted the young students, middle, elementary, college students to see us, see who we are, and that they can be like we are. You can be an engineer, or you could be a data analyst, or you could be a manager, or you could be whatever, as long as you have the ability and, more important, the passion to do it. Because that's what this is all about. So think about that. What do you want to change? Next slide, please. Students always ask me what's a good career to pursue, or what are we preparing students to be? Long ago, I was called a troublemaker. I had a way of stirring the pot, coming up with new inventive ideas. But now I'm called a disruptive innovator. And that's what we're looking for. Creative, disruptive innovation. The day-to-day, how can that be altered or changed to be a little bit better, to be faster, more cost-effective? So that's the things that you think about. And I've seen a lot of disruption in the world now. I'm not talking about COVID-19, but I'm talking about positive disruption to make things do better and go more cost-effective. And you are the ones who are driving this. So, there's a lot of things I may say, and I'm going to leave this, I'll leave you with this word, that I don't think you're the leaders of tomorrow. I think you're the leaders of today. That's how I look at you. You're leaders. And you're leading this disruptiveness in our world now to make it better. Next slide, please. The fourth industrial revolution again. And that's why I'm going to repeat it. I'm not going to go all the first three, but this one is the most important as you see where we are, because we have so much going on with technology now. And this 5G is going to unleash that internet of everything, where everything and anything is connected to the internet. Smart refrigerators, smart stoves, smart ranges, smart households, smart doorbells, Alexa, all these things that we have are now going to be even amplified more. Smart cars, autonomous, driving themselves, trains, planes, it's all coming down. But what that creates is a whole new opportunity in security. Because again, I'm going to repeat this again, and please forgive me, that once we start connecting everything to the network, now I've got to secure it. If you don't know, this country is hacked every minute of the day. Our financial institutions, our power grids, everything. And we need people there to be able to secure our networks. So cyber operations, cyber knowledge, ethical hacking are so important right now. Next slide, please. And this is interesting. I had a lot of people ask me, why did I work with students so much? And you, my students, are about, roughly, I could be wrong, about 20% of today's population. But you're 100% of my future. And that's why I'm thankful to Mike Eure for inviting me here today, because this is my investment in the future, to have you realize and understand what's going on around you. Yes, you're going to school for a purpose, and there was a boatload of opportunity out here. And I'll give you a quick, for instance. A young lady contacted me. She went to the University of Missouri, I think it was, or Wisconsin. And she majored in statistics and, and data. And she calls me and she goes, "Oh, I just want to let you know that Twitter hired me so I could analyze the retweets of disasters to see the patterns." And I was like, "Excuse me?" And they're paying, her starting salary was like $75,000 a year. So again, this data analytics, the statistics, these things and what you're doing is so important. It's creating new jobs and new opportunity. So just be aware of that. And my next slide, please. Now, what I've got up here, and hopefully, Mr. Eure, you'll send this out to them. I've got intern opportunities. I work closely with Fidelity and a few other companies in Cisco, and there's some things that's happening now. So let's make sure that the students get some of this information, Mike. All right.
And also, I'm not going to interrupt you, but you do have some questions.
Sure. I'm almost done, believe it or not.
So
I just want to make sure that they see that there's plenty of opportunity out here. I'm going to give you a coaching point. Very, very important. Please, please, please don't wait till your last year in college to go, "I need an internship." We start in your second year, your third year. You start applying, getting into these companies and this opportunity so you can kind of see the layout of the company. You can kind of see how they operate, and so they get to know you. I want you to remember, my parents always told me, it's who you know. It's who knows you. I want you to remember that. All right, next slide, and I think I'm ready for questions. And there's Asymmetry. You can see us on the Book of Face, is the way I like to call it. Some of the workshops that we've done, some of the videos of the boys coding and having fun while they're learning. So next slide, and thank you.
Thank you, Rene. So we're going to start with the questions. And Sarah, if you don't mind. Okay. Chris Reardon Ajah. Dr. Ajah is the head of our engineering department at Wade Tech. He likes the coach of students. Do we have the coach's permission to use that term?
Yes, you do.
Coach of students. Okay, they got that answer. Next question. All right, this is thanks for the shout out. Dr. Tony from the National Society of Black Engineers, RTP Professionals chapter. And we're going to put that NSBE, NSBE.org for any students or people that want to get in touch with them. And you can put in the RTP chapter and get to them and get to some very important things. And I know they're doing a collegiate chapter for all the area students whose schools do not have NSBE chapters. So I think they're going to have a meeting right after we have this meeting. But nonetheless, you had the website. So next question. Thank you. Brian McClain, this is one of those North Carolina A&T graduates. He came from the School of Technology. He says, awesome. Great information. How can you enroll current youth in the STEM and robotics?
Take a look at our the Facebook Asymmetry. I should have an enrollment up there. I've been working with the Hayti Center to once we start to get kind of back on site and get around this COVID-19. So we're working with the Hayti Center, the Durham Boys and Girls Club, and Durham Parks and Recs. So you'll be seeing us at some of those facilities, some of those locations right here in Durham, holding some of our workshops. So we do have some things for virtual, but we like that, we're prepared for COVID-19. We got the social distancing. I got the wipes. I got the masks. We're all excited to be back on site.
So Rene, what we're gonna ask you to do, be prepared to do this, to give your contact information. I see we have a question coming up, so we'll go ahead and do that first. Okay, Chris. Coach Rene, thanks for taking the time. As a big fan of innovation and technology, I am very concerned with the durability and quality of our new inventions. What are your thoughts?
Now, that's a quality. That is so big right now because I notice a lot of devices and things are being pushed out, and I worry about that. When I was growing up, we had quality control. So I went, it's all about, please forgive me, all right? And it's all about trying to make those dollars and get these things out there. I'm going to come back to my students. This is the reason why we're working with so many students to go, I need you to be quality minded. So as new things are starting to come out, we're starting to be disruptive and being in there just to be able to go, is this really good quality that we're pushing out to the public? Because we have to make sure of that. You know, we don't want people spending their money and devices are breaking, you know, after 6 to 8 months. So we're going to start the whole companies accountable to this. I think it's time to do that as a public and start to put into my young ones' minds. Let's make sure we have quality control and think about this as we're pushing out new technology.
Additionally, I'm also concerned about the effects of our innovations on our youth, whom I don't see applying themselves mentally and analytically as these new inventions make them lazy. These are another, Chris got the big questions. Your thoughts on that one? Go ahead.
Well, this is something we do in our workshops. We have those boys and young ladies, we have them think. A lot of our workshops, especially my Lego workshop and my coding, equates a lot of the things they're learning in school, mathematics, or a lot of their math now, their equations. Perfect, for instance, to code the robot behind me to follow a line, you actually have to use the equation x plus y divided by 2 equals z. I've got a video with a 7th grader explaining how he used that equation to figure it out. So a lot of our workshops, we take the math that they're learning now. That's when we're kind of conscious of the age, and we equate a lot of their math to our workshops so they can see a real application. And I think that's why I'm going to start working more and more closely with the Durham public school system, because I think our kids need more real-time applications, not just imaginary things and looking, here's this equation, how does it apply to what they're doing right now? So if you take a look at some of our workshops, you see those boys thinking and working through some programs, because a lot of my instructions are verbal. I don't put anything on the boards. I speak to them and go, here's what I need this to do. Then they got to go figure it out. It's a wonderful thing. I hope more and more schools do that.
From Brian McLean again, great information. Thank you. Are you all currently set up to partner with the early college youth and help bridge the gap from school to corporate or other possible mentor shadowing? And you may have answered this earlier, but go ahead.
No, but I'm going to do this. If you take a look at my LinkedIn profile, I am the chairman of Central School of Business, CIS Advisory Council, and I put a Cisco Network Academy there. I also adopted the Josephine Dobbs Early College, which is on the campus of Central. So now those students in that early college, guess what? They're taking some of those courses. We also introduced a first robotic competition to that school. So 3 years ago, it was the Josephine Dobbs Early College with Asymmetry and Duke University and Dr. Salim from the biology department. We encouraged our kids to be into first robotic competition, and they actually competed. So yes, I've adopted the Josephine Dobbs Early College, and there's another early college that I'm looking at to work with. I think it's Mr. Brasco Williams at NC State.
Yeah, yep. Brasco. Mm-hmm.
I just did some things with his high school students, and looking hopefully to 2021, kind of get a little bit more involved with NC State's early college as well.
I need to also say that the community college system also has early colleges on many of the community college campuses. And Wade Tech has at least 3. We have 2 what we call collegiate academies, which are separate schools. And then we also have 3 early college. One focuses on health, and I can't remember all the details, but I'll share it with you, Rene. But okay. Al Leishton, he is, and I think you talked to him recently. He's our program director for networking technology. Great guy. Thank you for tuning in, Al. NSBE, good. Please, y'all take a snapshot of this. So thank you so much, Tony, or whoever sent this in. This is very good. So they have a meeting that is right after this. So go ahead and do that. And I think she's going to be sharing scholarships, internships, and all kinds of opportunities for students. But you need to apply in December and early January. So students, please take advantage of that. And Rene, please give us your contact information if anybody wants to follow up with you right now before if we have more questions, we'll take them, but let's do that first.
Coach Rene Daughtry, please call me Coach. I love that name. There it is, RDAUGHTR at Cisco.com. And also look for me on LinkedIn. So I expect your college students to have a LinkedIn profile. It's very, very important. And please hit me up on LinkedIn.
And Sarah, could you put my contact information just in case anybody wants to catch up with me as well? and I will connect you. Rene Daughtry will answer your emails. I'll tell you that. He's a very good guy, and I'm so glad I had the opportunity to meet you and to bring you into the Wake Tech cybersphere. And our first interview was on the Research Triangle campus. And now we're doing it online, virtually. But I'm glad, and as you say, this gives many opportunities. There are some handicaps and drawbacks, but we might use this moment to really engage our young people. And this is the story I want you to tell them about, the young man in Durham that didn't want to participate, but you got him doing beats with his robot, and now he's doing great in his math. And just a little bit about that for parents.
Oh, that was a fun one. It was I can't remember. I also work with the Durham County Library. Two things that I've done with the library: work at the small branches, and they actually had me go to the Durham Youth Detention Center. I went last year. My middle schoolers are locked up in this detention center, which blew me away. But we had a really good coding session with them. I was supposed to go back in May, but COVID-19 stopped me. But at one of the branches up at the Durham County Library of Durham, I came up with my Lego robots. And one young man told me outright, he didn't want to be part of it. Excuse me? And see, I don't discourage anyone, no problem. He didn't want to be bothered with my robots. I was going to go back and get one. So I said, young man, what do you like? And you know how my young men are, right? Coach, I like beats. You like beats? Can you create beats? He goes, sure. So I said, you create beats, and my robot has sound sensors. Let's see what happens. Next session, I had to make sure that my sound sensors were all set up. He came in, he played his beats, and the robot started to move. So he kind of coordinated that with music, STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art, music, and math. That math was important. Math is part of music. And now, through that session, he wound up being my lead in the robotic workshops. He wound up going to, continuing in school. And he wound up really getting a love of math because he started to realize that beats and sounds, quarter beats, it's all math. So once we made that connection with that young man, he was good to go. And he hit me up, and I was in college and totally blew me away, and just hit me up on LinkedIn to let me know how he's doing. And he thanked me for showing him that correlation between music and math.
So let me make a quick announcement. The third Thursday of December, we will be having Dr. Aaron Smallwood, who is the chair and a professor at the North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University Department of History and Political Science. His topic is going to be the triracial identity of Tuscarora, Meherrin, and other Native Americans. And he's talking about in North Carolina, Virginia, and east to west. But he's going to talk about all the Native Americans and how they're connected with Africans and Europeans from the 1500s, not since 1865. So that's going to be a very good upcoming. Do we have any more questions, Sarah? Or are we ready to say goodbye? I know we went over, but it was interesting. All right. I think that this is the end. So thank you, audience, for participating. Do you have any last words, Rene?
Just do well. 2020 was a very challenging and interesting year. We got a new year coming up, 2021. COVID-19 had us rethink, repurpose some things. So, people ask me, how did you feel through this? And I describe everything in 3 words, and it's just me the way I am, no matter what goes on in this world. Faith, no fear. So that's kind of my encouragement to all of you there. That's what I live by. And let's keep on doing what you do, all right? Be positive.
Once again, thank you for joining us for the Michael Eure Show, and we look forward to seeing you on the third Thursday of December. The time is going by so quick. Bye-bye.